If the styles you want to see, then this is the place to be. You have waited for so long, so your patience is quite strong. Bonjour mes amis, I don't want to abuse any more of your patience, so it's now time to start the second part. So here we go, the CSS. Now about CSS. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets and is a language that, said in other words, will get dressed your web page in a very good looking way. Imagine yourself preparing for going to a wedding and trying a suit. You will put the suit and you will see that the color is not what you want. You will have to get undressed, then put another suit and see if the color is now what do you want. So these will take some time. Imagine CSS like a magical stick where you will only have to change a word or just a character or just a single number and the color will change instantly. Now, how you can insert the CSS into your page? Well, there are three different ways. You can put an inline style for each one of the HTML elements. Then you can put an internal style that is defined here at the header section between these two style tags. Or the third variant is using an external style sheet. The advantage of using an external style sheet is that if that style sheet is linked to more pages and if you want to change something, then you will have to make a single change and then all the changes will happen instantly for all the pages with which the respective style sheet is linked. Now, from the priority perspective, priority number 1 will have the inline style, then priority number 2 will have the internal style, and priority number 3 will be linked with the external style sheet. Because I will now work only at a single web page, I will put the styles here internally, but just a quick example to show you the priority order. So if I will create a new document, I will select the language CSS, okay, and I will save it like text, okay, and as you can see here we've got this. Now let's suppose I want to format the body and we'll put a background color. Let's put green, for example. Okay, and I will save it. Now returning here, I will link rel its style sheet, type is text/css, and href is x.css. Okay, and if we're gonna save it and we're gonna refresh here, as you can see our background is now green. But if I will define a style for the same element, meaning for the body of the page here internally, let's make it red, then save it and refresh it, will overwrite the previous format from the external style sheet. And if I'm gonna use it inline now, which has the first priority, meaning putting the attribute style, let's make it background. Let's make it, for example, cyan. Okay, and if we will now refresh it, as you can see now the background turns cyan. So I've shown it to you how the priority will actually work. Alright, now let's return to our work. Let's eliminate these from the example. Okay, and we will concentrate on the internal style sheet. Okay, now I want you to understand how the things will be done, and I will give you another example. Imagine ourselves creating a shelf for displaying the products, then putting actually the products onto the shelf, and then putting some price labels on each one of the products displayed on the shelves. So based on this structure, we will gonna build our page and our styles. So practically, let's define some classes by which we're gonna be able to format different elements. So let's put CL1 from the class 1, and we'll put the position with the value of being relative. And this is going to help us implement the shelf. So practically here at the body level, we will implement our shelf by using the div tag, and we will apply the class as CL1. Okay, and now we've got the shelf, and here we will end up our div. Great. Now let's insert the products. In our case, the products will be the background image. To do so, we're gonna have the img tag. Source is, in our case, the first one, frutas1.png. Okay, introduce it like this, is giving us no control about the image size, meaning that it will be introduced with its original size. If we want to change this, then we can add a different class where we will be able to specify the new sizes that we want. For the moment, saving it and refreshing it, it will now display our background image with the initial resolution, and in this case I like the initial resolution being 1920 times 1080. Okay, but as I said, if you want to change this, then you can define another class, and then you can specify the new width and height for the image. Okay, so let's imagine this is our product, actually more products, with the image that has been put on the shelf, meaning on the div tag. And now if we're gonna analyze the second image, okay, how many labels should we add? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 labels. So let's suppose we have 5 different products. I've compared them with the image, and now we have to add 5 different labels representing, let's suppose, their prices. So I will have to define now 5 different classes, and I will have to specify there what I want to be able to position the labels directly on top of the products. Okay, so to doing so, let's suppose that so each class will start with a dot. So let's put label 1 up to label 5. So here in our shelf, we'll have to put now the position as being absolute. Okay. Then I want to specify a left and a top certain number of pixels. I don't know now exactly, we will get in a minute. Now I am putting just something randomly. And then a part of this, we will want to specify the font family, the font color, the font weight, and so on. So practically it's font family. Now I will leave it to Arial, but you can put whatever you want. Font size, well, we again have to identify it from the original image. So now I will put a random value and then a color, which again we will have to put it. And because Paint does not offer the hexadecimal, it offers the RGB. We will use the RGB, red, green, blue, and we will have here, we will have here the three values for the red, green, and blue. Again, for the moment, I am taking them randomly. So for the moment, this is what really matters. Okay, now how to identify really the values that we should put here in order to position our first price label, let's say in our original example. So we'll have to go to the Paint. Let's zoom a little bit more and let's identify, for example, where this V is start. So I will put here this pencil, and we can see at the bottom we have 226 and 44 pixels. So we have 226 pixels from the left margin and 44 pixels from the top. Okay, so 226 and 44. Of course, you can have small difference in pixels. You can make small adjustments if you want in the end, but more or less, if you're not stick with one single pixel, then these values will be quite good. Now about the font size, well, I don't have now any kind of clue, so I just have to insert something, and as you can see, initially we have the 30 here, vegetales in Espanol, and as you can see, this is certainly way smaller than what we have here, so I will increase it to 40. Sorry. Okay, 40 might be quite good. And if we're gonna put it here, yes, it's almost, but not exactly the font size that we want. So I think it's going to be a 44. So if this is gonna be put here, then as you can see, it perfectly matches the original. Great, so now we know the font, Ctrl+Z, and we know that is of 44. And the last element that we need is the color. For these, we're gonna use this tool, the color picker. We'll position it here. Now, as you can see, the color is here. Now, edit the colors, and we see the red, green, blue being 142 and 151. So these are the three values that we have to put here: 142 and 151. Great. Now, in order to visualize our result, we have actually to insert the label, the first label out of those 5. So here, after we have inserted the background image, we'll put a new div, and this time with the class being equal with label 1. Okay, And now the text. We can put the vegetales frescos. And we can close the div. Okay, now we will be able to see the result. So I refresh here, and as you can see, we're having the result. But we are not quite yet 100%, and this is to the fact that here in our original stuff we've got also the bold activated. So one more element to be added here, it's font weight, which is bold. That's great. And now, as you can see, everything is really perfect. Great. Returning here, we can now put the text in Greece because this is our target. So I have here all the texts. They have been translated with logically Google Translator because I don't know a thing about the Greek language. So it's a Control C, it's a Control V here. Great. And now, as you can see, we have the first element. Now we will speed up the things, but these things will be shown to you in the part 3 episode of how to attract more tourists to your store. But till then, thank you so much for watching and see you in the next episode. À bientôt, mes amis.